Well, hello, everybody, and welcome to this week's episode of the Ripple Effect Podcast. My name is Daniel. I'm so glad that you've joined us, whether you're watching this or listening to this on the go. We are so glad that you are with us. In the studio, I am joined by two lovely ladies. We have Miss Cheryl Botkins on the far right, and we have Miss Ann in the middle, and we are so glad that you are here with us today. We'll get to her in a minute and introduce her to you and what she's doing here and this beautiful backdrop here that you probably can't read, but we'll describe it to you here in a moment. But we want to start by first saying thank you to so many volunteers and people who helped made Sunday morning possible. Easter was Sunday morning, and we got to celebrate together. We had breakfast together. All the kids were helping set up the meal. We had the service. It was a wonderful day. And for all of you who are wondering, I did get my glazed ham. I mentioned on Sunday that I love, for some reason, I equate Easter and glazed ham go together, which is very interesting because Jesus was a Jew who didn't eat ham, right? And now I'm celebrating it by eating ham. It seems a little bit backwards, but I hope you enjoyed Sunday morning. And but we want to say thank you. There was a lot of people helping, greeters, setting up the coffee bar, helping set out chairs, and particularly all the parents who got their kids here early. It's been a minute since your kids were the little ones running around helping.
It has been now.
Yeah, but now I get to see your grandbaby running around.
Grandchildren, right? I have a granddaughter, and that is awesome.
Yeah. So we want to say a big thank you to everyone who helped out. If you missed those services, you can see them online at tlcc.church, or you can go to YouTube or Facebook. But first, we wanted to say a big thank you to you. Two quick announcements. The women's ministry, which is called WOW, Women of Worth. I'm saying that right. Wow. If you don't know that there's a women's ministry, there was one that was really active for a long time. And then it kind of died off, and we had about 4-ish years where there was like, are we doing stuff? Are we not doing stuff? Well, WOW's back in action, and the women ministry have a calendar. They're putting out stuff. They're doing activities together. So if you are a lady in the congregation who wants to participate, or if you're someone watching this and you're not that connected to the church, but you want to get connected to other ladies here in the community, this is open for you. So the women's ministry, they're having a trivia night on April 26th at 6:30 p.m. Anne, are you any good at trivia nights?
I am not good at trivia.
Yeah. Is it the have to think quickly, or is it just the...
You just have to think, period.
Period. That's my excuse. That's really good. So it's happening April 26th at 6:30. Everybody's welcome. All of you ladies are welcome to come to that. So that's happening April 26th at 6:30. And then the last announcement, the second one, is our last Wednesday night before summer break is April 30th. So it's not this Wednesday, it is next Wednesday. And so that'll happen April 30th, and after that we take a break for the summer, and it is a much needed break for a lot of our helpers and staff and volunteers, and I hope you take advantage of that with your families and enjoy that time together. But that last Wednesday night will happen April 30th. Okay. Yeah. Anne, we're so glad you're here. For new guests, I like to do something where you're on the clock. You're going to have to think. And you will, I give you 60 seconds and introduce yourself.
Okay.
We got some people here, don't know you, don't know anything about you. If you're introducing yourself, what's the most important parts of you? Who are you? You got 60 seconds. Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Set, go.
Hi, I'm Ann Elliot, and I'm a licensed clinical social worker, among some other things. But I have the Lighthouse Counseling Center in Moberly, Missouri for the last 25 years. And we do therapy, play therapy for children. I do trauma therapy, and now I've opened up an equine-assisted play therapy center in Rennick that I'm kind of trying to get off the ground, and love to offer some groups. So I'll have to attend your WOW group. That sounds wonderful. But that's about me.
That's you. Boom. 37 seconds.
Wow.
Well done. You had plenty of time. You have plenty of time.
Well, one of the things I have done is I have volunteered for the Suicide Prevention Network that we have here in Randolph County. And we're going to talk more today about the activity we have coming up a week from Saturday. So
yes. Well, why don't you go ahead and promo that right now?
Okay.
We'll get into my questions and Cheryl's questions here in a little bit, but you keep rolling. What is this? How long have you partnered with them, and what's coming up for people to look forward to?
Well, this will be our 5th year. And this was something that got laid on my heart, I guess you could say, about 10 years ago, probably at least by now, when we had someone die by suicide. And it was a young person. And so a big effort went into trying to prevent this from happening again. Well, of course, we know it hasn't prevented it, but we do have help for it now. So for the last 5 years, Cheryl and I have been doing a prayer event. The first one was basically, and still is, to recognize those people that have lost people to, from them dying by suicide. And so much of the time, even in religious senses too, they're forgotten. They don't feel like they can talk about it. They feel embarrassed, or they feel ashamed, or they feel like something was wrong, or maybe they're a bad parent because it happened, or a spouse or a employee. Anyway, so this was to get together originally to help people that needed help and keep going. So it's developed over the years, but now this 5th year, we're continuing to offer services. There'll be tables available. We have all sorts of information. These are suicide and depression. What do you do when you lose somebody to suicide? And then just basically information of 30 facts everyone should know. And those will be available. We have tons of magnets. This 988 is something that our state has taken
Show and tell
on.
here. I love it.
And these will be available as well. Those are yard signs. And I really am warmed when I go through Moberly, and there's a sign,
Seeing
and
the
there's a
signs out
sign.
and about.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. So
let's park on that for a moment. So I'm
Okay.
just curious, when you call 988, what happens?
Well, it's similar to 911, where they can get your address and that information, but 911 is usually for fires and medical emergencies and things that need medical attention, where 988 is for strictly mental issues, mental problems, mental needs. And they will kind of track you from your number. So if you have a number from somewhere else, you tell them where you live, and they'll often provide resources for you in your community. At least somebody to talk to, because we know suicide can be a fleeting thought that doesn't hang around oftentimes a long time, but can be acted on in a short time.
That's a good way to say it.
Yeah, we want to get on top of that.
So 988, if you're someone considering suicide or in a dark place, what if you're someone who is concerned about someone that's in that place? Can you call and also get some advice or help?
I would just recommend, that's something we do with the class that we're going to be offering about conversations on suicide safer homes. And it's going to be a free class with free chicken dinner.
That's right.
But on May 3rd. But it is important to friends. Here, let me help you call. Let me help you get some resources.
Yeah.
We don't want to leave them until they're more stable, and we've got some answers for them.
Yeah.
And we have some resources for them to keep on going.
Right.
That's what our goal is we keep going so that other people can keep going.
Yeah, that's fantastic. So again, when is the event coming up?
May 3rd. We're going to start a little earlier this year. We're going to have set up for any providers or anybody that feels like they have something to contribute to our community from 8 to 9. Now, this could be churches. You talk about a place that you can witness and set out your schedules and things you got coming up for this summer. And so we hope a lot of churches take advantage of it, because we have the Ministerial Alliance coming.
They'll be here.
I'm so excited about that. That was a vision that we had years ago, and they'll be the ones delivering the prayer. Do we have a flyer?
I don't have a flyer. I didn't grab one.
That's the only thing I forgot.
Should have grabbed that.
Yeah, all the other flyers.
Yeah, eat, greet.
Meet and greet, pray and eat.
Yeah, that's it. Meet.
That's
we're
good.
going to pray and eat, and so we're got hopefully a lot of activities. If you still like to get on board or get a table, we have means. Just email Cheryl here, I guess.
Yep, we can do that. Get that link out. Yeah, because we're gonna have. I know we have a few of the counseling organizations here in town are going to be here with resources, and has some phenomenal activities. One of my favorites is the weighted vest that an individual can put on and just feel the heaviness of what depression feels like. And so I think that is just a really good visual and activity one can walk through to experience what that heaviness is. So we'll have some things set up that are interactive. Face painting is going to be always a fun activity. Stevie will be here doing that. But like I said, several of our other organizations in our community, the resources that are available in our area will be here for you to come and have conversations with and talk to them about what they provide.
Yeah, so when you go through a situation in your life, sometimes you don't always you don't know how important it is until you go through it.
Right.
And I've had some people that I've talked with, or they're going through a difficult circumstance, and they a lot of times I'll hear, I wish someone would do something about that. And May 3rd is a good opportunity for you to see and get connected to ministries that are trying to do something about that. Mental health issues, suicide, help and prevention, and other whole list of things. And so even if it's just coming through and seeing what's available in our community so that you're aware of it, so that if you deal with something or people in your life are dealing with stuff, you at least know, oh, there's somewhere to go. There's people who are willing to help. There's ministries who are trying to make a difference and an impact in our area. So May 3rd, for you, if you're not being a provider, you come at 9 o'clock.
9 o'clock.
And we're going till...
We're going till 1
The
if you want to
chicken's gone?
stay for the whole thing. Yeah, if you want chicken, noon. But we are 9 o'clock is when the doors open till 10:30. At 10:30, we're going to have some individuals share their lived experiences related to suicide.
Yeah.
And those stories are always so powerful and impactful.
Yeah.
Just to hear the survivors or what an individual has walked through in that state. And then Ministerial Alliance is going to lead us in a time of prayer and devotion. And then at noon, we're going to have our chicken dinner. Does require registration. We want to make sure we have enough food for everybody.
Yes.
If they're going to be here to eat. So that one, we'll get that link out, and you can find that on Timberlake's Facebook page.
We can attach that link to this video too. So you'll register through whatever link is sent out and just say, I'm coming.
Yeah.
No paying, no nothing.
Right.
Just say
It's
we're
all-
going to be there.
All covered in costs. That's right. And then Anne talked about the conversation presentation she's also going to be doing at noon. So you'll fix your plate of food, step in and enjoy this conversation that she's sharing about how to have those conversations for safer suicide homes.
And it's so important because we, have gone through, I guess, what you would call an epidemic of suicides by our young people, by our elderly, by our military. This is really a promotion of mental wellness. This is hopefully resources that people can get a hold of and use so that they can make their life better. And so that's the whole drive of this. We know that, it's the leading, if not the second leading cause of death among our 10 to 14-year-olds. And that's just unacceptable. They're just starting their life. They don't even know what it's about. Yeah. So we've got to get in there. Elbows and get in there and start helping the kids see themselves as Christ saw them.
If I can just kind of go in on that a little bit, do you think what major issue do you think there is of why that is? We know some of the stigmatism around even just talking about it, and kids that age feel like I can't talk about it, but they're hearing lots of other people talk about it. They're hearing online lots of people having those conversations. So is it just not having people around them who are willing to engage in those conversations? What kind of big issues do you think are the cause of particularly that age group seeing that as a viable option to get out of the difficult circumstances they're in?
I think there's a lot that contributes to that. I think media. There's so much online about how to do it. There's so much bad information and wrong information. I also think there's a lot of pressure. I mean, that's puberty. That's coming out into adolescence and teenagers, and there's so much pressure there. And they just are so much affected by their peers and want to be accepted.
Yeah.
I think they'll almost do anything. And so we have to give them the self-esteem and the tools so that they can say no, or, hey, let me help you, or, some other way of dealing with it than just either shutting down and not reaching out, or following along and being a follower. So.
Do you think there's also some kind of romanticism of suicide, of like, not romanticism, but you don't see it clearly for what it is? It's almost like this false story of there's something heroic about it, or epic about it, or acceptable. Like, it almost is this false narrative of you don't really see, unless you've experienced it in your own life or someone that you have loved or cared for, you just don't see the damage that it causes and the truth about it.
And I really think of most people that they run out of coping skills. They don't know what else to do. And they think that other people will be better off without them. And they get a lie built in to what they believe about the people that are in their lives or not in their lives. And they feel alone. So that's what we're really here for. That's what 988 is. It's about, you're not alone. There'll be somebody 24 hours, 7 days a week to talk to. If you need it for any reason, just call.
Cheryl, I'm gonna throw this to you, and you can ask this or answer this as well. Why do you think it's so hard for someone to admit, or even just to talk about, yeah, I've thought about committing suicide? Because I think, and maybe I could be wrong, but it's probably something that more people have thought about than they care to admit. Like, why is that? Is it just a stigmatism, or what?
Definitely the stigma that comes with it. And also, if I talk about it, or if somebody else talks about it, we have to act on it or do something about it. And so I don't know if I feel comfortable with someone thinking that, or knowing that those are the thoughts that I have, because with the stigma, maybe they'll take me down to the hospital and I'll be hospitalized for multiple days. And we know that's not always the case. It's having that opportunity to talk about the feelings or the thoughts that you're having.
Yeah, because there's something powerful when someone's like, I've dealt with this, and you're like, oh, me too. And then it's like, this is a part of life. And maybe not just in suicide, but maybe in even all mental struggles, is how powerful it is when someone's like, I understand because I've been there too.
Absolutely.
Not to normalize it, but to say, you don't have to stay there.
Right. You don't have to be alone in that.
Well, and we know that usually kids aren't going to go up to an adult and talk to them about it. They'll go and talk to other kids. So that's another reason why we have really geared coping skills and how, have a conversation and what to do if somebody does say something, and how do you handle it? Because we want to give them confidence. I mean, one of the things over here that we've done is the Botvin mental health programs in Randolph County. And these have been powerful in the schools.
All right, we have to pause here.
I'm sorry.
Because I heard you say Botkins, and it's Botvin.
Nope, not that.
Because her name is Botkins. Okay, Botvin is a what?
It's basically a mental health program.
Okay.
There's books, and there's speaker, or your teachers are doing it now. They're being trained to do it so that it can be continue long after our grant is gone. But it helps teach kids, what is depression? What is stress? How do I handle stress? What is social skills? What do I need to do if somebody, does this, that, or the other? It's about mental health. Yeah. And so there's sessions on that, but then I usually come in and I talk briefly on suicide prevention and how they might help. And you'd be surprised. You open that conversation up, I never have to say anything. I mean, yes, it's happened to them, and they don't know, wasn't sure what to do or who to talk to. And so you open that up, and then kids feel informed. They feel more adequate to handle the situations, and handle it in their own lives as well.
Yeah. And I think that's a good point to recognize is they don't tend to go to students don't tend to go to adults. They're going to go to their peers. So when we have that level of education and information coming down to other students, when their friend comes to them and says, I'm having suicidal thoughts, that gives them a resource so that they're not carrying that weight on themselves, because it is heavy for 10 to 14-year-old to hear, my friend's thinking about killing themselves.
What do I do?
What do I do? And it provides those resources to them as well to say, what adults can I go to? How can I help them in their current situation?
Wow, that's great. So May 3rd, 9 a.m. Come 9 a.m. to 10:30. If you want to stay for chicken, want to stay for the presentation, you're going to stay till noon and participate in that. I want to shift gears to talk about this. Okay, so you all can't probably see, you see this Caring Community Partnerships, and there's a bunch of different avenues that go out. So I have two questions. Number one, what is this? And number two, when did you go from, because you mentioned Lighthouse, when did you go from, I'm going to deal just counseling specifically with individuals, to community engagement? Or do those two things just go hand in hand for you? So I don't know what you want to answer first, but what is that? And then for you personally, because it's one thing to say, I'm going to counsel someone one-on-one. It's another thing to say, I think we need this in a broader sense, and let's try to address the community.
I've always tried to address the community on different things. Our first suicide prevention was over 10 years ago when, like I said, someone, and we hired actually somebody to come in and talk, and we had like 75 people there. And so that was like, okay, Ann, there's a need there.
Yeah.
And so from there, we just kept offering different things, mental health promotions for healthy mental health. And so what this represents is Caring Communities got a grant about 3 years ago because somebody mentioned that we should apply for it because Randolph County had one of the highest rates in Missouri of completed suicides. So that was like a big wake-up call. So they called me and asked...
Is that still the case? Do you know the stat on that?
We don't typically the research isn't done that quickly.
Yeah, it's
so
2 to 5 years behind.
Yeah, we probably need another year or so to then revamp the grant and the information.
And
but
are we doing anything?
Yeah, the 10 to 14-year-olds we did see go to second instead of the leading cause of death. So that was hopeful, I think. I mean, we really probably will never know how many people did we help that didn't, complete suicide. But on the other one, we want to make sure that we can give a complete picture. And so I got contracted by Caring Communities to be their spokesperson, kind of, and researcher as far as finding out what our community needed and trying to set those things up. And so, like I said, we have the Botvin curriculum that is in 3 to and soon to be 5 schools.
If it's not in your school, ask.
Yes,
request
we
it.
will definitely. We have a lot of other things. Some of these are just we had the grieving group, which was for people that survived suicide in their family or attempts. We often learn that only 10% of people actually commit suicide if they have attempted in their life. So it's not like it's a sentence that they're always going to do this.
But that also means there's scars.
Yes.
That people carry. Sometimes literally, but definitely like in their life. If they've attempted it, then maybe they've moved on from it and maybe never addressed those issues. There's still some scars there that need to be dealt with.
Well, and we've learned at least with one person that dies by suicide, 150 people can be impacted. If it's a small community, everybody in the community is impacted somehow. And we saw a big increase through coronavirus when everybody was isolated.
Oh, yeah.
And I mean, life changed. Everything went online, and the world's shifted, and so we've got to shift too and catch up, because there was so much depression, isolation, fear now of going to school, germs, death. I mean, the people that had loved ones die by the COVID, those are still carrying around stuff. So there's a lot that could be unpacked, as we say, and left in my office or left in somebody's office,
Right.
and don't pick it back up, because we need to try to live in the present and the future. So that's what we're striving for.
That's great. So what about you personally? How has doing this research, how has putting this stuff together, working with people, not just in the mental health world, but specifically with suicide and prevention, how has it impacted you? And has it changed the way that you approach your counseling? What has it done for you personally?
Well, I don't mess around and asking. It's on my front page of your intake. Are you suicidal? Because I don't want to spend 6 weeks to find out, oh, yeah, they were suicidal.
Yeah.
So that's something that's on there. We're going to make that well known. And also, it's not unheard of. People get stressed out. And so that's what we work on, is how to handle everyday stress so it doesn't accumulate and take us down. So,
And I think that's a good point, because it's also on my intake form. If you know somebody is struggling, or you're even thinking they might be struggling with suicidal thoughts, ask them. Like, there is that myth, oh, if I ask, I'm going to put the idea into their head. What do we say about that myth, Ann?
no way. With media, there's even drinks called suicides. I mean, it's been so downgraded that, it's not a taboo subject anymore. We've got to start asking.
We've got to talk about it.
Because if somebody doesn't come back to work one day and you find out,
You could have said something, or
you'll live with that the rest of your life.
Yeah. And I had a friend who he had someone close to him that he thought he was concerned about, and for I think it was 2 or 3 days didn't really leave his side. And that whole situation, so I was supporting him as he was supporting that person, and I just got to thinking, not everybody has that person in their life that can be there for them. A lot of people are alone or going through this stuff by themselves, and it might be your opportunity, if you think something's going on, to say, hey, let's talk about it. Let's get it out now, and not allow that, it's weird, or I don't know if this is the right situation. I might not have all the right answers. If that's you, there's people who can help you kind of try to figure that out.
Absolutely.
So this is wonderful. So you got May 3rd coming up. You've got the Caring Community Partnerships that provide lots of different resources that if you're interested about. And then if you're in a situation where I need stuff now, there is the 988 number to call.
Exactly.
Which provides a lot of help.
Yes.
I want to switch gears just for a moment, because you mentioned equine therapy. Now, tell us what that is and why that would be interesting. And are you just someone that wants an excuse to go ride a horse? Or is this actual something that can help people?
Well, actually, there's no riding the horse.
Oh, I'm not doing it though.
Okay, because what we're teaching is relationship and communication.
Okay.
And if you can communicate and you can relate and you can have a relationship with something that's 1,200 pounds, it's very empowering. And play therapy is what I use in my office for children. The saying that, toys are their words and play is their language. So we have to speak their language. Well, I teach a horse communication class. And so before anybody comes out to the farm, they have to know, well, if they have this ear this way and this ear that way, what's that mean? Or maybe their tail's doing this and, whatever. And so all of a sudden you've got kids coming in that are looking for communication. Well, if you're an ADHD, you don't pay attention to anybody's communication, no less what their body is doing. So when I get those kids and they can read a horse, or have them tell your horse about what happened today. Oh, okay. Well, they start talking it's like these kids can communicate. So we have to teach them how to interact with humans too. So they transfer that. So anyway, it's very interesting. We do all sorts of things. We dress up. We do activities we have to do slow-mo and a lot of things because you can't just throw a ball, right? But so we have a lot of fun in creating coming up with games that we can play around the horses. I had a youth, the horses were sleeping. And I said, well, you want to go lay down with the horses? What?
The answer is yes, always.
And then they went and laid down. And the horses just, okay, well,
like
come
it.
on. Mm-hmm. And so the horses are definitely, to me, spiritual. They can feel a human's heartbeat 4 feet away. So they know exactly what you're feeling and thinking. So it's up to us to make sure we know what they're feeling and thinking and show that same respect.
Have you... this is just curiosity now. Have you been around horses a lot? Like, what even connected you? You mentioned the farm. Do you live on a farm? Is that like something that's been in your life for a long time?
I was born and raised on a farm. I always kind of kid, but it's not really a joke, that I was raised with horses. I was the last child, and parents were gone a lot, and so I'd just go out into the field and hang with the horses. And
they were your buddies, huh?
Sammy Jean he'd saved my life many a time, and so I never underestimated what those beautiful creatures can do. It's like a dog. I mean, dogs, if anybody been around a dog long enough, they know what you're doing. They know your routine. They know exactly what you're...
So I always...
Yours isn't here.
I know. I didn't bring him.
Oh, well, that would have been great. I always referred to horses as hay burners because, that's what the disgruntled farmer would call it, because it's like, oh, I've got to feed this thing, and it's a lot more expensive than a dog to feed. But I love being around them. They're incredible to be around. But yeah, if I can't ride them, I don't know if I want to go out to do the therapy. I'll rethink that.
Okay. All right.
But you get to play.
But I get to play with them. That is exciting. That is exciting. Well, I think that would be interesting because there is kind of to get kids out of their own heads sometimes. There is a novelty and a wonder being around an animal that big. Of like, oh, this is real, and I think that could be really impactful, maybe even for some parents that are listening, if they've not considered that for their children before, to know things like that are available even in our area. And I know, Cheryl, you've talked about even how do we connect people with that type of therapy would be pretty powerful.
Well, animal assisted therapy is so powerful because it breaks down barriers. There's not very many therapies that are physical.
Right.
And so we're talking to people about attachment and about, being close or intimate matters or whatever. And it's like you can't touch, So a dog, some of you know Joey. Joey is a little Shih Tzu that comes to sessions the last 10 years with me. And he can
He's
break
the one
down...
that you should have brought today.
Yes.
Okay, that I could hold. Okay.
He breaks down barriers. I could have a big old tough kid there saying, I ain't going to therapy. And here comes a little Joey. And it's like, oh. So it really does help a whole lot. And of course, horses being so powerful yet submissive. That's a beautiful picture of how the relationships in real life should go, give and take, and making sure we don't force animals they don't have to come.
Oh, yeah.
They don't have to act, they don't have to participate if they don't want to. And to have that rejection is interesting for some people to process.
Yeah, what's wrong with me?
Exactly.
That this animal...
And boy, that opens up a whole bunch of stuff. And then when that horse finally comes over to him, it's like, oh, maybe that's not, maybe I am okay, so it's wonderful. It's all in kind of still developing, but we hope to do some women's groups maybe. I'm getting a little tea house together, and so we're going to do healing herbs and talk about a lot of things. So hopefully we can involve the animals. So
that's great. Invite the horse to tea. So May 3rd is going to be this event, and it's going to be here at Timberlake. And look for the link, look for the signups, and we hope that you participate. I do have one more question, and this could potentially end up being very, very long. But with you here, I just feel like I need to ask this. I've asked Cheryl this before, and Cheryl, feel free to answer. But you have been in the counseling world. You mentioned 25 years-ish. Somewhere in there?
Oh, gosh, no, 45, I guess, now at this point.
Oh, my. Okay.
You're going to tell my age.
No, I would never do that. I'm a gentleman. Never do that. You seem to still have joy?
Oh, thank you.
I don't know if you're just faking it, but you seem to still have joy. So here's my question. Having seen the worst in people and done a lot of work with people, I'm sure you've seen your fair share of successes and failures. How do you personally keep that joy?
I always look at the ones that succeeded. I always look at the good that was done, the little changes. And in play therapy, that's what you look for too, is just little changes in their play or what they choose to play with or how they play with it. And it's so important that we don't give up hope, because we are here in Christ's stead. So if we don't get that hope out there, who's going to? That's so that's what continues, to burn my light is the fuel of the word and the fuel of smiles. I always want people to leave with a smile, and that's my goal.
That's wonderful. Do you want to add anything to that, Cheryl?
Yeah, right there with that is sharing the hope. And for me too, it's really seeing individuals with that lens God has towards them. He created them. He loves them. He wants what's best for them. And so I hope that I can share that with them as well. And that's the lens I have for them.
Yeah. Well, maybe you can leave this podcast with that idea of what you're looking at oftentimes will shape what motivates you and what drives you. And it can be very easy to only see the negative or only see the things that we don't have or we're missing out on and allow that to drive your thought process. But there's a different way to view things. That is still there, and don't be naive about it. But you can also always choose to see the good in each day. So, Anne, thank you for being with us.
Thank you very much.
And we hope that you guys will consider being there May 3rd. And if you want more information about that, we'll be promoting it more here in the next couple of weeks. So thank you so much for being here with us. Cheryl, thank you as always. Yeah. And thank you all for being here. And next time, you better bring your puppy. That's all I'm saying, because I want to see him. All right. Well, thank you for joining us this week on the Ripple Effect Podcast. We will see you guys next time.